Eh? Keluar dari untuk perjalanan. Ada stiker terlalu.
video mute ചെയ്തിട്ട് നമ്മളെ
അതെല്ലാം ബ്ലൂട്ട് ചെയ്തില്ല കുഴപ്പമില്ല വളരെ ഇട്ടോട്ടെ അത് കേക്കുത് അധികം പറയാനില്ലേ
ആരൊന്നും പറയണില്ല ഇപ്പൊ
കൊണ്ടുപോവാൻ
प्रिंसिपल सर मनोबल बेटर टीचर उस टाइम पे तुमने डायरेक्ट हुई थी नया भी कोई सा
उन्हें मिलती है जिनके सपनों में जान हो
बरोबर राहू दे ना.
टीचर्स को हैंड ओवर कर दीजिए प्लीज.
तो
A warm welcome to one and all present over here. Very good morning to all the teachers, school leaders, directors, Sahodaya Complex, secretaries, chairpersons. Thank you so much for joining on a Sunday morning. It's going to be an absolute pleasure to discuss with you on continuous professional development program on this Sunday, which we conduct on a regular basis. Super Sunday workshops have been organized by Super Teacher Edu Reforms Private Limited with an objective to talk to educators in the country with various developments with respect to education system, especially in India and a little bit abroad as well. And today also we will be able to touch various aspects of continuous professional development programs in India and various other schools. I would humbly request all the teachers, leaders out there to ensure that your participants are on mute so that there's no disturbance for other people. And most importantly, you are also there on a safer side of not getting, insulted. I do not know. Yeah, anyways, let's get back onto the point. So this particular session is going to be for 1 hour, and it's quite a small time or a less time for us to discuss on the whole project of CPD of what's happening. But however, we'll try to ensure that most of the topics and most of the areas that the government of India is trying to cater to with respect to continuous professional development is addressed in this particular session. And if at all there is any requirement of a teacher or a school leader to know more about this particular program, you can directly contact me. I'll put my number on chat in the end of the session. You'll also have an inquiry form coming at the last through a QR code and a link again on the chat. You can click on that. This particular session is being live streamed on YouTube as well due to high demand, and I had just 500 participants of Zoom registration. Down the line, if anybody wants to go through this particular session once more, you can access our Super Teacher official YouTube channel and look at this video like as many times as you want. And finally, I'll also be showing you the continuous professional development program arranged by Super Teacher in collaboration with various government bodies, which I'll talk about that later, and show you how it could be conducted in your school or Sahodaya complexes or APS complexes or atomic energy complexes, depending upon the requirement. So let me quickly start with this continuous professional development, and let's get into the details. The first and the foremost thing that I wanted to talk today was when we talk about, watching something or knowing something, especially in the entertainment industry. For example, Ritiksha or Ritishka wants to watch a movie and she goes over there. The beauty and the charm of a movie success directly depends on the way the storytelling happens. There must be some kind of a background. A background needs to be properly set, some kind of a flashback involved over there to understand the context of what is hero and heroine trying to do, and most importantly the conclusion based on the flashback and the current movie projection. Now, why are we talking about this movie over here? I would like to, take this continuous professional development as one form of a movie watch, without knowing where it actually got originated from, without understanding why is it required right now for the people in the country. We cannot really get to understand the charm of it. Now, when I say charm of it, I'm very sure by 11 o'clock, everybody will be like, wow, there are so many things in CPD and we never knew about it. Of course, most of you might have known quite a lot of information, but it's my guarantee that with this session, you're going to gain a lot of new information that you would have never come across before. Let me directly begin with that. And for that, I would like to share the screen. And this is how it looks like. I go over here. Okay, and I share the screen. So continuous professional development by super teacher. Okay, so any reform to be brought out in the education system, teachers are the bridges to bring out that reformation. Now, this is the underlying statement mentioned by NEP, New Education Policy 2020, where they very highly centered the whole policy with student-centric approach. Now, when there are multiple dimensions of students learning multiple things, the idea of the transformation of this information from the policymakers to the students can happen only through teachers. And that is the reason NEP very severely in a detailed manner mentions a lot about teacher training programs. Now, teacher training mein aisa kya naya hone wala hai? There are a lot of things that we will be discussing about. I saw so many YouTube videos. One important factor that I missed out was most of these videos are there and mostly in Hindi. That's one language that many people can understand. But the transformation of the intention of the CPD was not mentioned anywhere. Maybe we'll try to address that in this session. However, even if it's not completely understood with this session, I would request everybody to go through the document that NEP released, which I'll be sharing right after the session also. And even during the session, we'll be discussing about it. The modes of training for CPD is going to happen online, offline, and cafeteria approach. Now, I deliberately mentioned this slide over here only for the term cafeteria approach. Everybody would have understood about blended learning where online, offline both happens. But cafeteria approach is something that, was quite new with respect to terminologies. And it all mentions about how a teacher in the most casual manner learn a new topic, as simple as that. Now, this casual manner could be like having a cup of coffee and reading the documents or going through the audio video content, or it could be a group discussion wherein multiple teachers sit together and discuss on their ways of teaching students. So online, offline cafeteria approach. That's quite interesting to know, right? Let's go further. I want to talk about it. Now, once we understand the flashback, now this is what it is all about. Back in the year 1952, the first time Secondary Education Commission, this is quite interesting. If you go through the document, you'll understand that in the year right after independence, post-independence, multiple commissions were created. Like food and water was one of the important areas. It was primary commission, and then hospitals, healthcare was secondary. Multiple commissions were formed, but education commission was an extension service commission. That means it was not part of the primary requirement. It was more like an extension. Education was not given the priority at that particular time to an extent which should have been, or which is happening right now. That's the reason I'm mentioning that. The first program that came into existence was in-service training called as INSET programs. I'm very sure most of the principals, school leaders, teachers who are in the age category of around 35, 45 years old, maybe more than that for sure, would have definitely undergone some trainings through this. So here in this case, okay, Swati, requesting you to put everybody on mute, please.
Here, Vasu.
So here in this case, Secondary Education Commission, In-Service Training Commission, implement
Vasu, please unmute yourself.
Secondary Education Commission, and then Education Commission in the 1964 came up with an idea of school complexes. Sahodaya complex, we talk about it. Atomic Energy Education Society, Army Public School at that time, I'm not sure if it was launched as a school complex. I think it was a primary policy itself. Now, these school complexes were designed so that the regional schools, state-wise, I can address all the schools and the teacher training can happen. Now, teacher training can happen by teachers coming to that particular complex and learning the information, or else it could be the people from school complexes can go to the multiple schools and conduct the training. And then came NPE in 1986. Look at the year gaps, 1952, and then came after like nearly 12 years, 1964, and then 1986, nearly after 20 years, came National Policy of Education. And under this National Policy of Education, with the agenda of unifying or universalizing education or making it common across the country, they came up with DIET, CTE, IASCP, MOST, and SOPT, and all these things. Now, DIET is District Institute of Education and Training. CTE is College of Teachers Education. Then Institute of Advanced Training for School Education. Then PMOST was again a program for massive online or massive operation like for school teachers again. Orientation, yes, orientation for school teachers. Then SOPT was for primary teachers. So for the first time in NPE in 1986, they came up with the importance of primary education, and that led to the development of DPEP. Now, DPEP is also for the primary education. These were launched in mid 1990s, training for primary and elementary teachers under UEE, Universalizing Elementary Education. This came in the year 90s. 90s was the time when many people were born who are part of the participants right now, if I'm not wrong, 80s and 90s. So this was the major update that happened. Now, next update is a massive shift. I'm talking about this for a deliberate reason, which you will understand later. Sarva Siksha Abhiyan in 2001 came into existence, where the training of teachers decentralized at block resource centers and cluster resource centers. Mass orientation of teachers on NCF 2005 happened, and textbook through EduSat. Now, this particular time, EduSat, education satellite, I would like to talk about it as a tribute to it. At that time, when people used to interact with one another, it was all about the telephone call. I think most of you might remember the cost of one call itself used to be quite expensive and quite heavy. And people from the education department went to ISRO and they spoke about a concept, a very exciting idea, an idea in which they said that education can be mass distributed. You remember the chapter of communication, mass media used to be like TV used to be, radios used to be the area where maximum communication used to happen. EduSat came as an interesting project wherein there used to be two things called as teacher end and student end. Teacher end used to be the place where people used to speak. Student end used to be the place where the people used to listen. And the best part was their unique feature at that time was the students can respond with multiple other questions. Just imagine in 2000, people used to be very excited with the thought of one person interacting with a mass audience over a satellite, and the information could be passed. In fact, National Curriculum Framework 2005 was launched, and everybody, were aware about it through EduSat programs. In fact, there were multiple studios that were set in states, and teachers used to go there and attend this. That EduSat got developed to a Zoom call right now, where whatever I'm speaking, you're immediately able to respond to me over a chat. Only thing is you're not able to unmute, which is like because of the feature, or else in EduSat, maybe you just have to unplug. I do not know. Like what I'm trying to tell you over here is the expansion or the technology, the way it got changed, it was end of the day all about communicating the ideas of the policymakers to the users, which were the schools, teachers, and all. EduSat was massively exploited at a very high expense, exploited in the sense massively used on a positive note, and many people came to know about the framework. In fact, NCF 2005 led to development of a lot of publishers. Because of their policies, multiple companies came up with their own way of writing the curriculums as a competitor to NCRT itself. NCRT has got its own charm, but still publications came into existence on a large number at that particular time. In fact, RMSA, it's like Rashtriya Madhyamik Siksha Abhiyan, was 2009 when they started giving importance to secondary education, and insets were organized for teachers of science and mathematics. No, just not science and mathematics. It was also for languages and technology. 4 areas: science, mathematics, languages, and technologies. Since 2009, technology in education started becoming very prevalent, and most school leaders out there might know that that was a time when people came up with ideas of digital classrooms, smart boards, and things like that. And the training on that used to happen as a separate entity altogether. Now, all these trainings were conducted by multiple organizations. It could be government of affiliated organization, or it could be a private organization as well. Then Samagra Siksha came into picture 2018-19, where the division of the curriculum got reduced comparatively. The whole curriculum in India became centralized from the same content point of view. For example, boards became uniform. The content of regional aspect became more uniform. The content, in fact, the books, NCRT books, which you will be receiving in the coming academic year, will have the applications of changes of Samagra Siksha 2018-19 policies as well. With respect to Samagra Siksha, the technology was again exploited to a large extent, and came something very amazing called as Diksha Portal. And Diksha Portal hosted a lot of multiple other websites from where a teacher can learn things. Like Swayam was integrated to it, NIOS was integrated to it, CBSE trainings were integrated into it. Nishtha came into picture. Nishtha 1.0 was elementary, 2.0 for secondary, 3.0 for foundation literacy and numeracy, and in fact, Nishtha 4.0 has also come into picture for early childhood care and education. Now, this document, when it was made, at that time it was not released, but I think last month it got released, if I'm not wrong. Some of the teachers might already know about it. Finally, the last, which is the latest update, is 50 hours of CPD for teachers, head teachers, and teacher education, NEP 2020, flexible and blended mode. This is how CPD came into existence. Let me stop share the screen for a moment. So this particular history of the way teachers training happened, it is not like something that happened all of a sudden and this is what CPD is all about, 50 hours compulsory here, we have to do it. No, there is a lot of logical reasoning behind why this has happened and how it has changed. And this particular document, which I'm going to show you right now, will very nicely explain you how the shift in trainings are happening right now. And this particular document is one of the circulars that your principals or your schools would have received, and even you would have gone through it. And this looks something like this. Let me share my screen. There were multiple circulars, but this one is quite detailed in nature. So in 24th September 2021, notification 16/2021, they came up with an idea of CPD of 50 hours, which was told something like this. So there was an existing rule and there was a proposed amendment. I'll repeat it. There was an existing rule and proposed amendment. And both of these are very important for us to understand. Every school shall organize 3 days in-house training program for every teacher at the school level. This was the rule. But this rule was not very specific. It was quite on an overarching thing. 3 days consist of 24 hours each day. Are they talking about 72 hours or are they talking about 6 hours a day? The framework was not very detailed. And the amendment, look at the change. Every school should ensure that all the teachers must participate in at least 50 hours of continuous professional development, CPD programs. Out of these 50 hours, CPD of 25 hours shall be completed by the teacher in the programs organized by the board or by the state government or government regional teachers training institutions. When I say government regional teachers training institution, it could be DIET, it could be SCRT, it could be CIET, lot of organizations in the local bodies. It could also be CBSE online training as well. I'll show the portal as well. After some time, you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about. And the school shall organize the remaining 25 hours of CPD in collaboration with the school complex of CBSE or in-house programs. Now, this in-house programs and CBSE school complex programs can be arranged by Sahodaya or the school principals itself. There have been many principals out there who are certified trainers who have come up with a rich experience of conducting certain topic trainings and which are like of certain importance, and they're conducting it. Or else it could also be by a third party organization. Some of the organization could be Center, some of the organization could be Super Teacher, some of the organizations could be Byju's for that matter. So there are multiple organizations who are conducting teacher training programs. My company Super Teacher was in fact created with this particular agenda in mind. That's how Super Teacher came into existence. This training can be arranged. So remaining 25 hours. So 25 hours by CBSE, 25 hours by a private organization or in-house training program. The first 25 hours training programs could also be YouTube channel of CBSE, where you can find me as a CBSE trainer for the topics of Google Arts and Culture, gamification of learning on the CBSE website and portal. We also conduct training as a separate body as Super Teacher, where the remaining 25 hours could be catered to. Now, how are these split up? We'll talk about that little later, but this is a brief history. Then the clause came, every school should organize at least 2 days training programs for its teacher, preferably in association with centers of excellence. Centers of excellence is present in across 18 cities, 18 or 20 cities in the country. I'll show that list as well. Of the board or through any teachers training institute recognized by central, UT, state, regional teachers training institutions, a CBSE Sahodaya school complex, or through center, state IT training platforms such as Diksha and Swayam. The school can also arrange this training with the help of established teacher training institutions like us. To be deleted as clause 16.1.2 has already been covered in the previous section. So far we have understood that 50 hours, 25 by CBSE or Government of India initiative or some centers, and remaining 25 could be complex or school complex or in-house programs by the schools. And then came the next rule. This is quite interesting. Every school should organize at least 2 days training program for its principal. So all the school leaders, directors, chairperson who are part of the school in one way or the other under certain management. You could be an HOD, you could be a vice principal, you could be a principal, principal preferably in association with centers of excellence of the board or through any teachers training institute, again recognized by center, UT, state, regional teachers training institutions or Sahodaya school complexes, or through IT training platforms such as Diksha and Swayam. So this is the same point, but it is for the principals. Look at the proposed amendment. Every school should ensure that principal and school complex leaders must participate in at least 50 hours of continuous professional development. Hence, it is mandatory and compulsory for even the school leaders to undergo 50 hours of training. Now, out of these 50 hours, CPD of 25 hours could be from the government, and the remaining 25 could be by the CBSE school complexes or in-house programs. Whatever I'm sharing is directly from Government of India circulars, CBSE platform. If at all there are teachers and schools from other boards, ICSE or IGCSE, I'll talk about the teacher training a little later, maybe not in this session, not sure, but definitely going to touch about the other boards as well. Coming to the next clause, in addition to the provisions, every school for its entire teaching staff shall organize full-time training program of not less than 5 days. Again, the specificity is not that clear and hence it's completely deleted. So this is how the circular came into existence, and it got percolated to all the schools, and maybe that is why there is a demand of understanding what CPD is so much in this particular session. The last point, the entire training program as specified in clause 16.1 and 16.2 and some clauses thereto shall be properly videographed and documented, including training participation certificates of teachers, and the records be preserved and produced during the time of affiliation. Their affiliation renewal, it could be during the inspection, or it could be uploading on a particular website. So UDISC plus website is the place wherein you can start uploading your records. So this was the this is the place where you can actually, this is the existing rule. Amendment is the entire training program as specified in clause 16.1 and subclauses thereto shall be properly videographed and documented, including training participation certificate, and reported annually to concerned center of excellence of the board for verification. You don't have to take an extra efforts in doing this voluntarily, because there are going to be portals that are present out there where the school can register themselves. It could be CBSE training portal, or it could be Ministry of Education ka portal, UDISC. I'm going to talk about that as well, where this could be uploaded. Each and every teacher, after completing a certain level or degree of the courses, you will be appreciated with awards. We'll talk about what are the perks of completing this 50 hours, but important thing is incentivization of completing this 50 hours came into existence. So this is the whole purpose for which this particular session is happening. I hope everybody got an idea of how CPD, why CPD, and what is the circular. Now coming to the context of where can I learn all these things and how do I do that? And for that, I would like to share my screen once again and show you something very interesting. And this thing is called as, okay, let me come down. Come on, yeah. So I share my screen. I'm going to play a small video. Watch this. I share the sound. Now this is a massive change. I would request you to watch this, please.
Teaching is considered one of the noblest professions globally and is associated with social progress.
Uh, 1 second, teachers. I do not know. Yesterday, even at this point, exactly at this point, the video was getting stuck. It's not due to the internet problem. It is the website issue.
With the evolution in the education system and the changing role of teachers, enhancing teacher quality becomes of utmost importance for long-term and sustainable nation building. National Education Policy 2020 puts the teacher at the center of the fundamental reforms in the education system in India. It is a well-established fact that education is a lifelong process, and the teacher is the most important factor in each citizen's learning journey. The National Professional Standards for Teachers, NPST, sets out to NEP 2020 that aims for equitable access to the highest quality education for all learners. NPST ensures that all students at all levels of school education are taught by passionate, motivated, highly qualified, professionally trained, and well equipped teachers. Through several discussions and revisions done by the expert committee, a preliminary draft of NPST was developed and released for public review, followed by 15 open house discussions and 5 in-house consultations that were held across the country.
The National Council for Teacher Education looks after the development, the coordination of teacher education throughout the country.
And invest
Okay, I do not know, there is some technical glitch. I don't want to continue this because it's not getting played. So teachers, this particular website, which I'm talking about.
in students. The professional standards for teachers would cover expectations and the competencies required from a teacher at different levels of expertise.
Okay, done. So I just close this, stop share. I'm extremely sorry about it. So National Professional Standards for Teachers by NCTE. You can actually visit this website and you can get to know more about it. I'll talk about that National Council for Teacher Education, and it has been given a lot of importance from teacher training perspective, and this is how it looks like. Let me directly show you the website. Some teachers are already asking on the comment section. So here it is. So here in this case, ncte.gov.in is a website from where you can get to know about NPST and other details. And here you will also know about getting yourself certified, integrated teacher education program, performance appraisal report, a lot of other schemes and policies that are present out here. Now here they launched a national, I'm sorry with respect to the video. Yeah, so the standards for teachers, national professional standards for teachers were also launched. And right now, if you ask me what exactly these are, they have not properly released it, but there is a document that was released which looks something like this. Yeah, National Curriculum Framework. And under this, NPST mentions have been present, but there is a pilot that's happening in around 75 schools in the country, wherein KV is also included. Navodaya schools are also included, and these a pilot project, once it comes to a conclusion, you will get to understand the professional standards, and I think by the next month that will also get released properly. So these are some of the developments with respect to the CPD programs from NCRT. So this is all by NCRT or NCTE, I should say. Now let me show you the area where you can learn all of these things, and this comes through this particular area. I would like to share my screen once more. I'm very sorry, I'm facing multiple glitches on the Sunday. Okay, here we are. So continuous professional development, according to the document released, in its dictionary, they are actually defining continuous professional development as the continuing education of adults for occupational updating and improvement conducted by a wide variety of institutions. Now, occupational updating directly related to a teacher's work and improvement kind of a wide variety of institutions. It could be the schools and other people, organizations and businesses, which usually consist of short-term, intensive, specialized learning experiences, often categorized by general field of specialization, such as medical education or continuing. This is what actually it means. But look at the way it is drafted right now for us. So in the year like 2012, Prabhu, like one of the writers, the drafters came up with an idea of the first activity is for a teachers to learn something is viewing someone else's teaching, where there is a demo video of one teacher talking about a particular concept. And I think many school principals have been organizing this by making one of the teachers to experienced teachers to teach something, and the other teachers who have recently joined as a part of their induction program, they view someone else's teaching either live or videographed or video recorded. It could be. The second activity he suggests is the teacher making pedagogic decision in the classroom in light of when it happens on how he perceived at that time. So all of a sudden, right after the teaching, like learning the first way, the particular teacher is directly supposed to conduct a particular class on a particular concept. And at that moment, that particular person would be choosing on the ways to do or communicate that particular topic. Is that, teacher making pedagogic decision. The third way of activity is the teachers communicating of their current pedagogic understanding to a fellow teacher. Now here we are multiple people present. If Shraddha ma'am feels that I would be able to teach the concept of trigonometry in so methodology because I got comfortable with that right from the beginning. But Anchal ma'am might not be so convinced with that because she has got her own style. So the third activity is really encouraging to discuss on each other's viewpoints. And again, this can happen through debates and group discussions in the school led by a school leader. The fourth activity is a teacher interacting with explicit pedagogic perception of specialists in the field as they appear in the professional literature. So down the line, like once a teacher completes, of course, most of you would have completed B.Ed and M.Ed, and you would understand multiple ways of communicating to the students. A pedagogy is basically, you don't follow your methodology, but you say that, okay, somebody has done a very good work of researching on how to conduct a particular class. Let me just follow that. That is the fourth one. I found that to be really mature. For example, following Bloom's taxonomy for asking questions to the children. Yeah, following the 5E model to talk to the children, engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate, or elaborate, explain, and evaluate. So we have got these pedagogical theories that are present out there with which you conduct the classes. So these are the four ways with which you can, get the teacher training moved on. Now, all these are present in the document, and that's the reason I'm showing this to you. Let me show you one more area. Rich and Farrell, they say that teachers training or learning can happen as a cognitive process. It can happen for personal construction, and it can be a reflective practice. And this has to be regularly done throughout an academic year. So in the previous slide or in the previous way, I was able to understand how a teacher training can happen within a school sector. Like CPD is revolving around all these, logics coming into picture. That is the reason I'm showing this to you. Then Richardson Farrell in 2005, they came up with an idea of cognitive process, personal construction, reflective practice. Cognitive process is something related to knowing a certain theories that are already existing. Personal construction from certification point of view. Reflective practice is from assessment point of view. Now, all these things came in set in service training, but there were certain drawbacks. First, in service training, whenever the in service training is organized, teacher goes to a particular location where they learn a particular topic conducted by some government bodies. But once the session gets over, there are no follow-ups that happen right after that, if the teacher has learned or not. The presentations at that particular time were not that great, maybe because people or the key resource persons were not really ready to use technology at that particular time. So poor form of presentation was another area. Too many layers of knowledge transfer. Now, when we talk about the training today, it's quite easy because we have this technology and we are exploiting it to, left and right. But when we talk about 2000, 2005 and all at that time, or even before that, literally people had to travel from one place to another to conduct these trainings. Hence, government bodies directly conducted trainings to KRPs, who are called as the key resource person. Key resource persons used to conduct training to RPs, who are called as the resource persons. And resource persons used to go to multiple schools in their locality and used to conduct the training for teachers directly. So look at the shift that's happening. Government body to KRP, KRP to RP, RP to teachers. By the time the teachers actually understand the policy that's made, it's already too late. And that's the reason too many layers of knowledge transfer deteriorated the quality of training and the amount of content. In fact, no incentivization, like if a teacher is completing her particular course, certification were not present, but right now certification is present. There was no appraisal based on that particular teacher training, though the school principals always recognize the work done by the teachers, but now even that has come into picture. Monetary benefits were not that present at that time, but now your increment is also dependent on CPD, the pay scale. Even in 7th pay commission, they are adding a factor of a teacher's initiative of completing their professional development journey. Though 50 hours is a mandate, it can be more than that. I'll talk about that little later. Now, when we talk about lack of mandate, it is all about, at that time it was not so compulsory for a teacher to complete the training program. Of course, the principals used to force, the local bodies used to force in the sense, encourage, I should say, but however, it was not as a policy. But right now, even for affiliation, even for during the process of inspection, 50 hours of CPD is something, a report that should be given by a school to the bodies who come and do the inspection, or submitted to Center of Excellence in that particular area. So that is the reason CPD came into existence based on NEP, and under these 4 areas, the teachers training is categorized. There are multiple topics that are getting listed in CBSE portal, which I will be showing right after this. Foundational stage, preparatory stage, middle stage, and secondary stage. It's like 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So it's like Anganwadi, you know about that, right? So the pre-primary education, then the preparatory stage of grade 3 to 5, then 6 to 8, and 9 to 12. So continuous professional development for teachers, head teachers, and teacher educators. Under these topics, under these areas, the teacher training topics are getting generated. Now comes NEP mentions. Now, I'm putting this as an important area here in the slide itself because school principals and school complex leaders will have a similar module, a modular leadership and management workshops. Now, the teachers training topics are quite different, and school principals it's quite different, and development of platforms to improve their own leadership and management skills, and a particular school leader can choose on what they want to learn. So that they can share best practices with one another. Such leaders will also be expected to participate in 50 hours or more of CPD modules per year, covering leadership and management, as well as content and pedagogy, with a focus on preparing and implementing pedagogical plans based on competency-based education. So CBE is the priority both for teachers and the school leaders. I will not be surprised down the line when the books come up with a new way of content approach. Maybe the book is not written from fourth person perspective or second person perspective. Competency based is going to be completely real life oriented. We cannot even be surprised, because if they say that that 1 year program can change to 6 months and 7 months itself, because some students can learn things faster and some needs extra time. There are a lot of discussions that are happening, and competency based education is going to be one of the core requirement. You already know its importance, but this particular paragraph dedicated for school principals and school complex leaders. This is how it is related, and this is like almost the end of the theory aspect that I wanted to show you. So we have CPD, NPST, and CMP. They are related to each other. Whenever you complete a continuous professional development program for a certain number of hours, your career management progression, CMP, will be determined based on that. And you need to follow and acquire the national professional standards for teachers through this particular CPD. They are all interlinked, and this particular interlinking will happen based on a teacher's completion of CPD and the assessment of the same. So whenever you complete a CPD, you need to upload it on a certain platform. Right now, I feel that this is the UDISE platform, but in the document there's nowhere very clearly mentioned on where it is actually supposed to be uploaded. But one place where they call that the teachers can or the school leaders can create their own e-portfolio, that is definitely possible through Diksha portal. If at all there is a place wherein people come up with so Nishtha ma'am, how much CPD have you completed? Could you please show me some records? So of course you can have your own repository somewhere in your drive, but at the same time you could also show the certifications that you earned through Diksha portal, and that could be preserved. Let me show you further aspects of the document. You'll get more idea of where it could be uploaded. And then comes the areas at various levels. Now, institutions and agencies involved in planning of CPD at various levels. So these are national, state, district, block, and cluster. I would look at this from cluster point of view. Cluster resource centers or school complex or NGOs are the places where the trainings can happen. And these trainings can be arranged by the local schools, depending on the requirement of your zone. For Bangalore list like schools, maybe the way of the topics could be different from the topics that's required for Chennai schools. I'm just coming up with a random topic over here. Then the cluster can get combined to block, where block resource centers are present, and then can go to district, where DIET conducts their own training programs. Then state, SCRT conducts a lot of programs, and then national. Now, national is all about you know NCRT, CBSE, CISE portals, and a lot of other things, NIEPA as well. Now, these are the areas where the centers plan the CPD programs. And all these, whatever I'm sharing right now, is the first 25 hours and the next 25 hours put together. Mostly the second 25 hours where the schools can take the program comes under the last three categories: district, block, and cluster. The state and national is generally considered under the first category of getting yourself trained from the government of India policies. Let me go down. These are the area of content for module development in various levels. So for national, the subjects are going to be quite generic in nature, with national and international emerging concerns. Then the state specific, district for district specific, block for block specific, and cluster for cluster specific. That's it. This is what they talk about how the trainings have to be conducted. There is definitely a categorization of how it needs to be conducted with respect to the duration, and that is how the calendar is present over here. An annual continuous professional development calendar will be prepared in a scientific way so that the teachers and head teachers will complete CPD in a systematic manner. It is suggested that in each quarter of a teacher, a teacher and a head teacher must complete minimum 12 hours of CPD. So there are 4 quarters, 12 hours. So 12 into 4, 48. And remaining 2 hours of CPD can be completed in any time of year. But ideally, if April, May, June, July happens, by the month of July, you should be equipped with certification which says that you have completed 12 hours of CPD. Yeah, this is again, it could be blend of first and second part of 25 hours. The remaining 2 hours of CPD can be completed in any hour. So basically 50 hours. 12 hours in each quarter. If teacher or head teacher attends a face-to-face workshop of 30 hours in a particular month, then remaining hours will be completed in a systematic way as suggested above. So 30 hours in the first month itself, most school plan their teacher training program. I'm very sure even now many schools out there would have planned a training program in the month of May. Like I am in fact personally going to some of the schools, some of the Sahodaya complexes for conducting the training. So it's already planned, and this particular training is quite elaborate in nature, as the school has got the time within the timetable, as the students would not have come. Let me complete the induction program and account this for 30 hours in a particular month. So this can happen, and then the remaining 20 hours could be done on a Saturday, Sunday on a regular basis. I'm very sorry to mention Sunday over here, but there are some institutions where you can, benefit yourself on a Sunday workshop. Thank you for joining on a Sunday morning like this today. I'm very sure this will benefit you up to a certain extent, right? Let me go to the next one. Other academic activities considered to be part of CPD. Now, sometimes what happens is it always the case that a teacher has to go to a certain place and get yourself trained on? No, CPD can also account for other activities. Now, what are the other activities? Say for example, the academic contribution plays, I'm directly reading the second point, a contribution plays a key role in workshops, seminars, conferences. Head teachers act as chairperson, repertoire, speaker, panelist, organizers, etc. This is in-house. Suppose a teacher is publishing a paper. Publication of paper is also to be included in other academic activities, and that can be accounted for your CPD. But how much ever you do, maximum of 3 hours will be allocated for that particular area. To know more details about it, I would request everybody to go through the document because there's multiple subcategories to it. Participation in field exposure or faculty exchange programs. Sometimes you go representing your school to some other school to be a judge, or to be one of the jury members in conducting some kind of a competition. Even that could be considered as the CPD, and I think 2 hours can be contributed to that. The other CPD activities will have appropriate capping with number of hours based on valid certificate. It is suggested in other CPD assessment parameters in section A and section B. So there are two categories which I'll show in the document, where they very clearly mention how much hours could be allotted. One of them was also about paper correction. So I think many teachers out there right now are going to other schools for correcting, papers. And if you go there, spend a certain time, I think 3 hours is accounted for your CPD hours as well. So in this way, they have just not talked about getting yourself trained by some body. It could also be your own initiative of learning something through multiple other resources, and it could be MOOCs as well, massive open online courses. Like you could do a course on edX, you could do a course on Coursera, you could do a course on, I would say even YouTube, but YouTube ka certification nahi hota. You don't have the certification under YouTube. That's one concern. But apart from that, wherever you get the certification, so that you submit and authenticate yourself that so and so course has been completed, they are all considered to be part of CPD. Mandatory CPD of 25 hours by school government bodies, remaining 25 hours which will be conducted by school complexes. Apart from that, if you do your own training programs, it would still account for a certain number of hours of CPD. So this is the most exciting and interesting part according to me, because this was not present in any of the policy before, enabling the teachers to come out of the box and take up their own initiative, start a program. I remember one of the teachers in one of the schools in Chennai, they came up with an idea of experiential learning for social studies, where excursions were taken by selected, like few selected students on multiple regions, in the sense they went to a tribal locality, they went to village setup, they went to a town setup. The students were taken, and whatever was presented on the book, it was actually shown to the children, including agriculture, farming lands, and various stuff. Now this was an initiative taken by a school teacher, and that's interesting, right? So this is with respect to your initiative, and even this will be accounted for CPD. So content development, e-resources for modules, reference books, textbook, etc. will be there part of CPD. Suppose if you're developing your own training programs and you conduct your own training in your school, especially the head teacher or the principal, even that accounts to your CPD completion, right? So other academic activities considered to be part of CPD, this is what we talk about. Finally, once we have conducted or learned all these CPDs from various resources, you develop your own e-portfolio, which is called as an electronic e-portfolio, collection of your 50-hour CPD activities. It could be 50 or more. The collection can include articles, certificates of paper presentations, workshop, online short-term courses, etc. If anybody out there wants to account this particular session for a CPD, yes, you can surely do that. You can say that I've attended by super teacher, so-and-so session happened, and I understood the complete circular, the document of CPD that was released by Government of India, NEP 2020. You can definitely account this. The collection, I'll be providing the certificates. The certificates for this particular workshop will be received to everyone before next Monday. Yeah, you can account for 1 hour. And it's not part of 50 hour, it is additional actually. The collection will also include the analysis of the skills and competencies, setting the goals and objectives, a personal needs analysis. Personal needs analysis, you will be mentioning what you actually require for the upcoming year and what you have done towards that. Identifying the needs, determining the gaps with existing skills and competencies, and regular periodic reviews. Authorities, when they say authorities will analyze each teacher's portfolio, it is SCRT, the diets, the block resource centers, and even the cluster resource centers. Sometimes there could be Sahodaya complexes in respective state and a city to assess a particular teacher's progress on CPD workshops. And yes, feedback will be definitely shared. Yeah, so this is with respect to e-portfolio. Finally, once you have done and you got to understand like so many things have been completed, what do you get? The perks and benefits that will be awarded may include vertical promotions, some other accountabilities or responsibilities, like you becoming in charge of so-and-so lab, which make them feel proud. Yeah, of course, it adds a lot of value to the career of a teacher as well. Cash awards with certificates. This is really interesting. Facilitation in important educational events and functions. Like you would have seen that in various events conducted a teacher. For example, in our case, we conducted seesaw event, computer science academicians way, where the teachers were awarded. That's because they have completed certain level of CPD. Advance increments. So next year you will be getting 100% increment and your salary is going to be 10 lakhs per month, something like that. I'm just kidding, but this is how it can happen. Paid study leaves. This is like nice, and I've seen in various organizations that they ask the teachers to go to other colleges and countries to learn a new topic on their subject. Especially this is happening for adult tinkering labs also. A school teacher is sent to a school where ATL is happening, and the teachers training can happen. That is paid study leaves. Special allowances including wellness allowances, health benefits, opportunities for exposure visits, national and international. Digital devices such as laptops, tablets, and smartphones. Yeah, maybe you cannot open Prime Video or Hotstar, but definitely you can use the laptop to learn more. Yeah, this is coming into existence, and there are schools who have already benefited. One important highlight that I want to bring out here is such benefits of government initiatives seeps down to the government bodies first, like Atomic Energy Education Society, Kendriya Vidyalayas, Army Public Schools, and then it comes down to the other private sector schools as well. Now, I just wanted to mention this because being from a government school, my father was, getting few benefits like this. He had received on mobile phone also back in the year 2005 or 2006. Yeah, we thought that there was no incentivization at the time, but actually no, they were there. Right now it is more organized. Promotions of their excellent achievements and performances through social media, festival bonus, and other local benefits. So this is what you get for completing your CPD programs. I hope everybody got a perspective of what you get. Now let me stop share the screen for a moment. I know there's too much of information that I shared in this particular duration, but the document is quite elaborate and I had to do that. Now I'm going to share the screen and I'm going to show you the platforms on which you can do the CPD. What are the topics that are present out there? The first and the foremost area is the CBSE training portal, which is called a CBSE IT. You can check this, and this is how it looks like. Wait a minute. I'm sorry, I've muted by mistake, and this is how it looks like. And I want to show this slide a little later. Come on, come on, come on. Okay. Yeah. So this is the CBSE IT.in portal where the teacher training can happen. The moment you come over here, you'll be able to find the Center of Excellences. So Ajmer is a Center of Excellence, Bengaluru, Bhopal, Bhubaneswar, Chandigarh, Chennai, Dehradun, Delhi East, and then Guwahati, Kakinada, Panchkula, Patna, Prayagraj, I think Allahabad, Prayagraj, Pune, Thiruvananthapuram, Delhi West, and Noida. So these are the areas where your centers of excellence are present, and the trainings keep happening over there. If you want to register for this, you can directly click on a particular center, for example, Bangalore, and you can select a category. For example, let me select generic CBPs, subject specific CBPs, or let's go for online session, free online sessions. The moment I click on free online sessions, you can see that there are register options for so and so topics. So they're talking about embracing multilingualism in classrooms, which is going to be on 20th March, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And number of seats is 900, and it's a free seminar, webinar, and you can click on register. The moment you click on register, you will get a welcome. So I have already registered over here as a participant over here. That's the reason directly this page is coming. If you're going for the registration for the first time, it will ask your details. Which school do you belong to? What is your name and category? What is your address? All the details, you need to give it properly. And you also need to give the school affiliation number through which you're going to do this or learn this. You just have to click on proceed to final confirmation on for registration, and you will get the link of that particular session on so and so day at so and so place. Now this is with respect to a free session, but when you actually come to the dashboard or register for the various other workshops, let me show you some of them. Say for example, online CBP. Okay, no program available for online CBP as of now. Let's go with generic CBPs. Classroom management 2 days. And Center of Excellence, this is happening under Patna, Guwahati, Dehradun, and Bhubaneswar. I'm just selecting all for a moment right now. Suppose there is a teacher who's really active here in our group, say Akanksha ma'am. She's from Patna, but she's ready to travel to Dehradun as well, just like a site visit. And so all she can do is she can see Red Fort International Public School is the hosting school where you can go. 28th and 29th ko the session is happening, and the fees is 1,000 rupees. Fees per participant per day it's 1,000 for 2 days. I think it's 1,000 plus 1,000, 2,000 rupees. It's going to be conducted by Anita Raturi, and she's going to be the resource person. Now, this resource person could be the principal of a school, it could be a teacher of a school, it could be anyone. You yourself can nominate yourself for a training as well if you're part of a CBSE school. Now, that one catch is there, and you can click on register. The moment you click on register, again, you will get the same option. Then you can click on proceed for payment, use the UPI or whatever you want, and you can complete the payment process. In this way, you can complete the training of 25, 50 hours through the CBSE portal as well. So on CBSE portal, you have got, so once I register for a certain number of, sessions, I'll be able to see the registered trainings, fee paid, trainings attended, feedback submitted, certificates received, all those display will be there over here. So this particular portal is CBSE IT portal. And next comes the Diksha portal. I think everybody knows about Diksha portal. You need to come to the Diksha portal, select the course of your interest, CBSE training. You can see that under that I can see competency based to be the one, experiential learning courses, the new one, if I'm not wrong. You just click on that. Depending on the grade and the category, you will get all the sessions. Diksha portal has got this advantage, rather than saying advantage, one charming feature of audio video content to be really nice. CBSE IT portal is also really good. It's more from live workshops kind of an experience. But with Diksha, it's more like a cafeteria approach where the videos are already pre-recorded, more like an asynchronous mode of learning. I hope everybody got the picture over here with Diksha portal. Finally, once you complete the training in these two portals, you can upload your details on UDISE platform. You need to register over here. Preferably, this registration can happen through the schools, and login for school directory user management. You click on that and you get a separate page and you can register yourself. However, with respect to individual teacher registration, right now, I'm not sure if it's because of website is undergoing maintenance. I'm not able to see individual teacher registration over here on UDISE platform, to be very honest with you. But once that is done, probably teacher registration once happens, you will start uploading all your details over here, and this will be your e-portfolio. So this e-portfolio ka clarity, I am very sure, is not as much present as it is supposed to be as of now. Is it going to be one single portal of CBSE, or is it going to be UDISE, or is it going to be Diksha? No, we are not clear with that. But e-portfolio has to be mandated. So if at all you're doing some work, try to collect that information and keep it in your drive somewhere or the other. Finally, coming to the last part of the session, and this is where I would like to show you the super teacher program. So here in this case, so what we have done is, as a part of remaining 25 hours, apart from whatever you take from the government of India, the remaining 25 hours could be taken by us, where we talk about Step Up Academic Excellence Program, and we categorize the content of training into 4 areas. One important thing that I would like to very confidently emphasize here is, though the topics of requirement is categorized in various forms and shapes in the websites that's laid down by government, they're not categorically logical. I mean, I wouldn't say that not logical. Maybe there is a logic, but I'm not able to recognize. Everything is so scattered. I'm not able to find the right place where you can learn something. There might be a teacher who is really good with curriculum, assessment, and pedagogy, but they might want to learn technology. So that particular teacher should be able to see the list of topics under technology, right? Now the categorization is based on generic from national level, then district level, then block level, cluster level, but not from the topic perspective. And that categorization we have done, and we have categorized almost all the topics under this area called as GT4U model, golden tetrahedron model, wherein we are GT4U. It's like 4U's: understanding the curriculum, upgrading the assessment, upskilling the pedagogy, and utilizing the technology. Under these 4 domains, our topics are derived. In fact, there is a fifth domain as well, which I call as soft skills or communication skills. Now, soft skills has got topics of conflict management, stress management, and things like that. And if a school is interested to undergo the training program from us, this particular document I'm sharing with you on the inquiry form, which is going to come right after this. Please fill up the inquiry form, write your details, write your information about the schools, and download the step up proposal, I would say, and you'll get to have the complete clarity of what is the curriculum, what are the topics under each category, and I have even given you the subtopics and the coverage over here. Basically, some kind of a lesson plan, yeah, or learning objectives, I should mention. Number of session directly represents number of hours. If I say 3, it is 3 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours, 1 hour, 2 hour, depending on the topic. We have also concluded with a lot of soft skills training also, where many schools were asking for interpersonal skills, email communication, social and emotional learning. SEL has been given a lot of importance in NEP and all these topics. Depending on the requirement of a school, we could actually get into all these things. So I hope everybody got the clarity of step up as well, and the CPD. I tried to concise a lot of information of NEP and continuous professional development program of a 68-page document. You can see this. I would request everybody to please go through this. It's not boring in nature. It's interesting if you read it continuously in one sitting, but you will definitely understand the picture of how it is actually happening. So I would like to stop my screen share over here. I hope everybody got a certain clarity. If at all a Sahodaya school complex would like to have a training done for all your schools, we can travel to your respective location and conduct the training programs. Now, depending on our discussion, this particular training program can be chargeable or can be pro bono, depending on the the other discussions as well. So I would like to meet all the teachers and the school leaders out there in your respective locations. We would be conducting another CPD workshop with registration process, the topic process, and also on how to earn the certificate and upload until things become a little more clear. Probably that can happen in the next Sunday or the forthcoming Sunday. If you would like to be part of knowing this workshop is happening, sometimes there are chances that we might skip writing an email to you. I would request you to please join our Telegram channel. The link will be there coming on the chat, and even after completing your inquiry form, you will be getting the Telegram link. You can click on that and you can join. Your information of phone number and name will be confidential. Other people will not be able to see that. Don't worry about it. That is the reason we are using Telegram platform. That's it from my side, teachers and school leaders. I hope everybody got an understanding of CPD. If at all there are any queries, please contact me directly. I would like to talk to you, everybody, like everyone, through like my number personally. I would like to contact you. The details are coming on the chat by Super Teacher. Yeah, for more details you can contact. Inquiry form also has the calendar for blocking yourself to have a discussion with me. You can give me an appointment depending on your availability, and we can quickly have a discussion in the following weeks. This is the time for all the schools and teachers to complete the this process of CPDs, and a maximum duration can be completed. So I would request everybody to utilize the summer vacation. You can go to Maldives, Andaman, come back, and then probably spend 2 or 3 hours a day and complete your CPD programs. It'll be quite enriching. That's it, sir. That's it. Telegram link will be there in the inquiry form. Telegram link will be there in the inquiry form, requesting everybody to please. All the certificates of Sunday you will receive the next Monday, not the following Monday, the next Monday. So today's certificate will be received by all the teachers on 20th of March, before 20th of March. So certificates of a particular Sunday, Super Sunday workshop will be received by the respective participants by the next Monday, not the following Monday. Please look out for the Super Teacher Edu Reforms on the chat. They are continuously launching the inquiry form along with my phone number. Yeah. Vasundhara ma'am, you will get the certificate by today evening or tomorrow. Meenakshi ma'am, you will receive the certificate by today evening or by tomorrow. Yeah, I hope everybody got certain information. I'll be repeating CPD session once more with more clarity on enrollment, registration, going through a particular CPD workshop and uploading the information probably the next Sunday or the next Sunday. Thank you. Thank you so much, all the participants. Thank you so much for joining. No, Girish sir, no, I'm recognized as an individual institute separately. Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Tanushri ma'am, Neha ma'am, Aditi ma'am, Swapna ma'am. Thank you so much, Meenakshi ma'am. Means a lot. We regularly conduct these free workshops on a regular basis on Sunday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. We call this as Super Sunday workshops. And the intention is purely to talk about, updates in education and without any charges. So this is going to be more like a news bulletin to you. I don't know, like if that's the right thing to say, but yeah, we'll also be calling few eminent personalities from CBSE and various government bodies for certain interviews during this particular time. Probably, some Vishwajit Saha sir, or I'm not sure, like I need to ask his permission. And then, we can interview and directly ask our questions to them. We'll talk about it. There are a lot of plans coming into picture. No, we will not be able to register everyone, like anyone, from our side, but we'll regularly update the upcoming event section in our website, and the Telegram channel will keep getting the information of the following Sunday's workshop. So next Sunday workshop, I don't want to tell right now, but tomorrow on Monday, you will get to know what is the next Sunday workshop. So we need to do a little bit of brainstorming today evening in our internal team, and we'll get back to you. Thank you so much. No, not all the sessions are included in your 50 hours training, but yeah, most of them you could consider. See, you can consider them to be as a part of continuous professional development teacher training for sure, but maybe not included within 50 hours. This could be probably 51st hour or 52nd hour or 53rd hour, something like that. See, end of the day, it is the number of hours that you completed, and that's what is calculated for your perks and benefits, right? Yeah. Thank you so much, Atul sir. Means a lot. Thank you so much. Dr. Jyoti, thank you so much. Meenal, Aarti ma'am, Anu, Himani, thank you so much. Ritishka ma'am, thank you so much. Tankam ma'am, you've always been there. Thank you so much. Bharat sir, thank you so much for joining. Meenakshi ma'am means a lot. Thank you so much, Meenakshi ma'am. Sarita ma'am, thank you so much. Kanpat sir, thank you. Swapna ma'am, thank you so much. If there is any inquiry, please fill up the inquiry form. You'll get the Telegram link as well. Gurmeet, thank you. Kishore, thank you. Rita ma'am, thank you so much.